Hey guys, it's Phil from OPM. I'm here with Steve Papoutsis, executive producer on Dead Space 3. So Steve, thanks for having me along. I've been playing the game with co-op, and what struck me today since I first saw the game is that it's become apparent how you're trying to scare the player this time. It seems to be in a different way to the previous games with the kind of the asymmetrical stuff that's happening between Isaac and Carver. They're seeing different things at certain points in the game. Do you want to talk a little bit about how that works?
Sure. So one of the goals with Dead Space 3 when we started thinking about co-op was that we did something very innovative, something very different, something that people hadn't seen before. You know, clearly Dead Space as a franchise means a lot of different things. And to some people it's all about the horror. Well, for the team, Dead Space is about the following: an intense atmosphere, thrills, chills, excitement, action, immersion, and of course, horror. So all of those things make up a Dead Space game. So when we talked about bringing co-op into Dead Space 3, we needed to make sure we were nailing those elements. We wanted it to be additive. We didn't want people to have a AI follower if they were playing single player. So single player remains the same as what you've seen in the past. Now, if you choose to play with a friend, you get to use Carver. And instead of just having an add-on character who's just another gun in the scene, he's actually got his own unique backstory, and he's fighting his own inner demons. So you saw how that psychological horror manifested itself in the demo today.
And also another thing that's changed is the way the weapons work and the upgrades there. Can you talk a bit about, I noticed I was picking up a lot of things that look like they can be used to upgrade the weapons. And I'm all right in thinking the nodes now are just used on the rig.
Yeah, so Dead Space 3 also has an evolution to our weapons system and our customization system. You are now able to also use nodes to upgrade your rig or put them in weapons, but you're actually crafting weapons from scratch. So you saw that you were picking up things like tungsten and somatic gel, and there's the scavenger bot that went out and collected resources for you. So rather than just having a straight-up credit economy as you've seen in the previous games, well, on Tal Volantis, they don't have that. So you have to actually lean into Isaac's engineering skills and craft and create your own weapons and tools. And so you do that at the workbench, and you're able to make things like a Ripper with a flamethrower or a pulse rifle with a javelin gun as the alt fire. Those are fully customizable, and you make those through our weapon crafting system.
And presumably that kind of changes the level design or the enemies in a way that would make it so that basically you don't want to have an overpowered weapon. So does that change the way the enemies are coming at you and things? If you, like you say, if you got the Ripper with a flamethrower, that's a really important piece of kit.
Yeah, so the weapon upgrade system and the way that they work is something that we're continuing to tune and tweak and make sure feels great with our weapons and our balancing. Our balancing goes on all the way up till we're finished. So we're working on getting that to a place where we're happy with it, and we want to make sure and understand that players are going to invest a lot of time in the weapon system, but we don't want to make them super OP. So we want to make sure that we balance the game in such a way where they're always feeling challenged and they're always itching to get another upgrade.
One of the really interesting things that I saw right at the start was the way that the necromorphs and the humans kind of interact together, and it's sort of like this ecosystem that carries on even it seems like when you're not even there. How's that been coming along, and how's that evolved as the game's been going through the months of process?
Well, one of the things when we introduced the unitologists that was fun was we put them into scenes with necromorphs. And of course, our AI works that it's just looking for targets, so it sees other humans. So we started seeing this interesting dynamic where we could have this combat triangle of Isaac and Carver versus the necromorphs versus the humans versus all of them at once. And it's just been really cool. We've got some really interesting behaviors when we put those things together, and it adds to the fun and looks really cool.
And I played a beta mission today, which kind of explores a little bit more of Carver's personality, and there's a lot more enemies to shoot, things like that. If you were to just go through with a single player mentality, how many can you put an hours number on how much longer the beta missions add to the game?
No, because we're still working on the game. But I will tell you this. Dead Space 3 is the biggest and most ambitious Dead Space game we've ever made, and it's considerably longer than any game we've ever made.
Steve, thanks very much for your time.
You betcha.
Cheers for watching.